And star swimmers Ariarne Titmus and Molly O'Callaghan through to the 200-metre freestyle semi-finals in Paris. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Meredith Sheehan. Now to discuss tonight's action at the Paris Olympics, I'm joined by Jared Coote. Jared, what's happening in the swimming heats tonight?
Yeah, the women's 200-metre freestyle was a headline for Australians. Two favourites for gold in that race in Molly O'Callaghan and Ariarne Titmus. It was Molly O'Callaghan who won her heat, and she also posted the fastest time all up going through to the semi-finals. Ariarne Titmus, of course, coming off the back of her 400-metre gold medal the next morning, so just cruising through to finish second in her heat, third fastest overall for the semi-finals, so probably not wanting to push herself too hard, but those two Aussies will be going head-to-head, you imagine, for this gold medal. Every chance is a gold, silver in this one for the Australians, so very much looking forward to that. In the men's 200-metre freestyle, Maximilian Giuliani won his heat. He was fifth fastest into the semi-finals, so a superb effort at his first ever Olympics. He's also from Tasmania. Like Ariarne, Thomas Neal, ninth fastest in the event. Not so much like for the Australians in some of the other disciplines. Jenna Strosso winning her 100-metre breaststroke heat, but wasn't fast enough to make it through to the next round.
And Simone Biles made her return to Olympic competition. How did she go?
Yeah, it looks spectacular in the women's artistic gymnastics, of course, returning after suffering from the twisties in Tokyo, where she lost spatial awareness in some of those high difficulty movements. Well, she began on the balance beam and managed a competition leading 14.733 despite an injury in her left leg. She also posted the highest score on the floor and the vault through two subdivisions. Her team, Team USA, qualified for the finals in first place. She was absolutely superb. How the human body can do this, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, completely dominant right throughout all her disciplines. Once again, there was nothing but stars and celebrities in the crowd. That was the hottest ticket in town, going to see Simone Biles back in action, and good to see her doing well after everything she went through in and post Tokyo.
Yeah, definitely. And we also saw some women's skateboarding tonight. How did the Aussies go in that?
Yeah, the women's street heat, so it's still going at the moment. We had two Australians in the first heat. It was Chloe Covell who managed a score of 246.73 across all her attempts. That was heat one, so she was second best in her heat. There's 4 heats of 6 riders. The top 8 will make it through to the final. She was one of the favourites for gold and is every chance, based on that score, of making it through to the all-important final. Liv Lovelace, another Australian, she was 6th in the first heat. Unlikely to make it through to the final. Hayley Powell still to come for the Australians, but some superb tricks from both of those Australians. Some wild stacks, as you expect in the skating, but tough effort from both, getting up and really falling over on a couple of tricks, trying the same trick over again and eventually nailing it on some of their attempts where you just do one-off big tricks. So that was good to see.
Yeah, great work. And an Australian has pulled out of the men's tennis.
Yeah, Alex de Minaur, unfortunately, the 5th seed of the tournament, he's put out of the men's singles. He is going to compete in the doubles still, but he's still recovering from that hip injury he picked up at Wimbledon in the 4th round on match point, mind you, that forced him to pull out of the tournament. He was due to play tonight, but he's now decided that won't be happening. He's playing in the doubles, though, alongside his good friend and childhood friend in Alexei Popyrin. So not able to quite move enough at the moment for the singles, but good enough for the doubles, and hopefully the two pair up well.
And what's the latest with the Matildas? They're due to play their second match.
Yeah, so early tomorrow morning they'll take on Zambia, 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Their second match in Group B. They lost 3-0, of course, to Germany. Zambia also lost 3-0 to the US. Both tough opposition, so they'll both be really needing some points in this one. They've got the best striker in the world at the moment, Barbara Brander, does Zambia. That's according to the Australian and US national women's team coaches. So she's been scoring a mountain of goals in the American League. Will be incredibly hard to stop, so a big effort for the Australian defenders required early tomorrow morning.
So what else do we have in store for us tonight and into the morning?
Yeah, we've got the Hockeyroos currently taking on South Africa deep in their first game, so we'll keep you updated on that. The Hockeyroos were 2-1 up. The cross-country mountain bike, the women's rugby sevens getting underway. Australia taking on South Africa. Team USA, the basketball team, one of the big tickets for Paris, they're taking on Serbia. So looking forward to that, and a whole heap more for the rest of tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Of course, the swimming finals as well. We will see that early tomorrow morning.
Lots to look forward to. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
To the Olympics now, and Australian swimming stars Ariarne Titmus and Molly O'Callaghan have delivered a blockbuster that's lit up the pool in Paris. O'Callaghan produced an electric final 50 metres to edge out her teammate and defending champion Titmus in the 200-metre free. Amanda Shlala has more from Paris.
The two fastest women of all time over the 200-metre distance produced a classic showdown. Last year's world champion O'Callaghan sat in the middle of the pack for most of the race before finding an extra gear in the last 50. It's O'Callaghan's first individual gold to add to her 3 relay wins, and she shared the moment with Titmus.
This is the first Australian 1-2 in 20 years since Ian Thorpe and Grant Hackett, but with the added element of both these swimmers sharing the same coach, Dean Boxall, and training together every single day.
How good was this? This is amazing! Gold and silver, are you kidding me?
We went to the same school as them in Brisbane. We went to St Peter's, and I was in the same grade as Molly's. So seeing them there tonight was pretty cool, yeah.
And they shared the podium.
They shared the podium.
Was it? Sportsmanlike class, pure class, yeah, really good.
Chris Burton won silver in the equestrian individual eventing on Shadow Man, a borrowed horse he's only been riding for 5 months.
I believed in this horse since I first saw him. I feel like we were meant to be together because I eventually convinced my wife that it is a good idea, and when she's on board, things happen.
The Australian women's rugby sevens team stormed into the semi-finals with an emphatic 40-7 win over Ireland in the quarters. In what could be the last match between two modern legends, Novak Djokovic defeated Rafael Nadal 6-1, 6-4 in the second round. While that great rivalry is winding down, in the pool, another one is just getting started.
Meanwhile, Olympic organisers have been scrambling after the men's triathlon failed to go ahead as planned. Here's Amanda Shlala again.
Paris 2024 organisers say they're confident the men's and women's triathlon will go ahead tomorrow. The men's event was delayed today after testing showed high levels of E. coli in the River Seine. Heavy rain a few days ago has affected the water quality. If the levels are still too high tomorrow, then the backup plan is to move both events to Friday. Then the worst case scenario is cancelling the swimming leg altogether and having a duathlon instead with just the cycling and the running. Organisers say they'll make the next call in the early hours of tomorrow morning.
We are quite hopeful because, as you can see, the weather conditions have been quite good over the past few days with the return of the sun and quite high temperatures who have a positive impact on the water quality combined with all the infrastructure that have been put in place. So we are hopeful that we can organise these 2 competition events tomorrow.
And there's also a triathlon mixed relay, which is scheduled for Monday.
And there's another jam-packed night ahead. I spoke to national sports reporter David Mark about what's to come.
We've already had the heats run for a whole bunch of races in the morning session of Paris, and Molly O'Callaghan, who had the amazing win last night, was competing again today, this time in the heats of the women's 100 metres freestyle. We also saw Kyle Chalmers, who of course won the gold medal at Rio 8 years ago. He swam as well in the heats of the men's 100 metres freestyle, and he also finished 6th overall to go through to the semi-finals. There was some bad news for Lani Pallister, Australia's best 1500 metre freestyle swimmer. She unfortunately has contracted COVID, and so she had to pull out of the race. There's been a bit of COVID going around on the pool deck, so a bit of a worry there. But if we look forward to tomorrow, there's going to be some fantastic races. Probably the highlight will be Kaylee McEwen, who of course won the 100 metres and 200 metres backstroke at Tokyo. She's through to the finals at around 4:30 on the eastern coast of Australia tomorrow morning, and she'll be swimming with another young Australian, Iona Anderson, who's making her Olympics debut. Now they'll be swimming against Regan Smith. Regan Smith is the world record holder. She actually took that world record off Kaylee McEwen, so they'll be swimming in the finals together. We're also seeing in the 800 metres freestyle Elijah Winnington in the finals there. So promises to be another really exciting morning of swimming.
All right, so a lot of action happening in the pool, but what's happening away from there?
It's going to be a really big night for the Australian women's rugby sevens team. They're competing in a semi-final tonight against Canada. If they win that, they'll go through to the gold medal match. If they lose, they get a chance to play for the bronze medal. But they're obviously going to be going all out for a win and have been in very good form so far in the competition.
And the world's best triathletes take to the water after the Seine gets the all clear. To the Olympics, and another day in Paris off to a great start with BMX rider Natalia Deem adding to Australia's medal tally, winning bronze in the women's BMX freestyle park. It comes after another golden night in the pool. Kaylee McEwen producing a strong finish to defend her 100-metre backstroke crown. Amanda Shalala reports from Paris.
Regan Smith had recently broken Kaylee McEwen's 100 backstroke world record, and the Australian also faced a challenge to keep her Olympic title. McEwen lifted in the final 25 metres to edge out her American rival. The 23-year-old joined some of Australia's greats by winning her third individual gold. Inspired by McEwen's success, Australia claimed bronze in the men's 4x200 free relay behind Great Britain and the USA.
The Australian women's rugby sevens team was left shattered after losing its bronze medal match to the USA here at the Stade de France.
The gold medal hopefuls threw away a 12-0 lead against Canada in the semi-final and led 12-7 in the bronze playoff before the medal was taken from them on the full-time siren. The Boomers had a 10-point loss to Canada, meaning they must win against Greece to guarantee a quarter-final berth. Tokyo silver medalists, the Kookaburras, were thrashed 6-2 by the reigning champion Belgium. But the Australian men's water polo team produced a stunning 8-3 win over the two-time defending champion Serbia. And Simone Biles led the USA to gold in the women's artistic gymnastics team final.
Still in Paris, and a day after the men's triathlon had to be postponed due to poor water quality in the River Seine, the men's and women's races have been given the all clear. Amanda Shalala again.
It was a huge relief for organisers and athletes for both races to go ahead today, and huge crowds lined the streets of Paris to get a glimpse of the action. France's Cassandra Beaugrand won the women's event to become her country's first triathlon Olympic champion, and Great Britain's Alex Yee produced a sensational late burst to overtake New Zealand's Hayden Wilde and win the men's race. There's a big day ahead for Australia. Logan Martin is defending his BMX freestyle gold medal. Jess Fox is looking to retain her C1 crown, and there'll be the 100 metres freestyle men's and women's finals featuring Kyle Chalmers, Molly O'Callaghan and Shayna Jack.
And in breaking news, defending Olympic champion Logan Martin has missed out on a medal in the men's BMX freestyle.
Jemima Montag walks into the history books, taking bronze in the 20-kilometre race in Paris. Hello, you're watching ABC Late News with me, Jade Barker. To the latest in the Olympics, and paddler Jess Fox has cemented her status as one of Australia's greatest Olympians by defending her title in the C1 in Paris. It's the 30-year-old's second gold of the Games and her third overall. Australia also added 2 silvers and 2 bronze medals to its tally, but it's game over for the Matildas. Amanda Shalala reports from Paris.
Jess Fox was already considered the greatest paddler of all time. Now she's an Olympic legend, becoming the first Australian to win 6 individual medals.
I felt a little bit different today, I think. Maybe more calm and more relaxed after the kayak.
Fox will have a chance for another gold in the kayak cross event.
I'll be giving it a red hot crack.
Here at the swimming, Australia collected 2 silver medals in a night dominated by France's hometown hero, Léon Marchand. Defending champion Zach Stubblety-Cook finished behind Marchand, who had won the 200 butterfly less than 2 hours earlier.
Incredible, honestly. We knew he was really one of the best, but now we are sure.
Kyle Chalmers produced a trademark blistering final 50 to take the silver, while Pan Shan-le smashed his own world record in the 100 freestyle.
So last year I received 29 tests and it has never been positive. From May to July we received 21 tests and never got a positive.
Penny Smith was on target, taking the bronze in the women's trap shooting. In the BMX freestyle, Natalia Diem couldn't contain her excitement after winning bronze in the women's park final.
This isn't just for me, this is literally for everyone and for Australia, and I hope I did Australia proud.
While that was a result worth savouring, not so the Matildas, whose disappointing campaign ended with a 2-1 loss to the USA in the group stage, their earliest exit since Sydney 2000.
Devastated. Yeah, devastated.
We're pretty disappointed, but the girls gave it their all.
The loss brought an end to coach Tony Gustafsson's 4-year stint as Matildas coach. The Swede and Football Australia parted ways by mutual agreement.
And day 6 of the Games is shaping up to be a big one for Australia, with another medal added to the tally. Here's Amanda Shalala again.
A wonderful result here at the Trocadero for Australia's Jemima Montag, winning a bronze medal in the women's 20-kilometre race walk. She came into these games as the world number 3 and has lived up to that billing, and she was incredibly happy with that result. There will be several Australian teams in action today, including the Opals, the women's 3x3 basketball side and the Hockey Roos. Australia's best medal chance in the pool tonight will come in the women's 4x200 freestyle relay. And one of the real superstars of these games, American Simone Biles, will be hoping for another gold in the women's artistic gymnastics individual all-round final.
And in news just in, the Opals have held off a late Canada surge to win 70-65. The Paris Olympics are being held, of course, against a backdrop of global turmoil with conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. For many athletes, representing their country takes on greater significance than just sport. Valerie Tarizi is one of just 8 athletes competing for Palestine in Paris.
Valerie Tarazi has always wanted to represent Palestine.
With everything going on in Palestine, it just means 100 times more to be able to raise the flag and compete here.
A flag bearer for the opening ceremony, Tarazi is proud to represent her roots. Born in America, Tarazi's grandpa was born and raised in Gaza.
We traced our family back to the year 400. We are one of the oldest Christian families in all of Palestine.
Like Tarazi's Palestinian teammates, the 24-year-old swimmer has a story to tell. 4 of her relatives were sheltering inside a church when it was bombed in an Israeli airstrike last year. The sad reality of the conflict has inspired Tarazi to ensure the voices of those not at the Games are heard as well.
We believe that sport is a basic human right, and it really hurts my heart every single day to just think that we have children who can't even go outside and play.
On Friday, Tarazi will compete in the 200 metres individual medley alongside Australian Kaylee McEwen. While winning a medal is the dream, competing in the colours of her nation is of most importance to her.
The day after you finish competing is the day that an Olympian's journey really begins, because you have a voice, people listen to you. So the least we can do is give back to our communities, our countries.
A unifying message in a divided world. Tom Maddox, ABC News, Paris.
And the women's gold rush continues in Paris with victory in the 4x200 freestyle. To the Olympics, and Australia has won its 8th gold medal in the women's 4x200 metre freestyle relay. And superstar American gymnast Simone Biles has taken out the women's all-round gold. That takes the US medal tally to 9 gold, just behind China's 12. Host nation France has 8. Australia is number 5 on the medal table with 8 gold medals, 6 silver and 5 bronze.
Molly O'Callaghan, Lani Pallister and Brianna Throssell set up the race perfectly before Ariarne Titmus brought it home in emphatic style. It was Australia's 5th gold medal at the pool, and family and friends of the Dolphins celebrated well into the night.
We could tell when all the girls came out onto the blocks, they wanted it really bad. To win these relays means an enormous amount for the girls, for the Australian swimming team and for Australia, and we're so very, very proud.
American gymnast Simone Biles has reached new levels of greatness in one of the biggest moments of these games, winning gold in the women's individual all-around final. After withdrawing from the Tokyo Games early due to suffering from the twisties, a mental block where athletes lose spatial awareness, Biles has returned to her best form in Paris. Fresh off leading the US to victory in the women's team event, she shone brightly across all 4 apparatus for her 6th gold medal overall, cementing her status among fans as the GOAT, or greatest of all time.
It was incredible. All of us cried multiple times.
She's untouchable, always. It is crazy that I am in the conversation of greatest of all athletes because I just still think I'm Simone Biles from Spring, Texas that loves to flip.
Jemima Montag said her 20-kilometre race walk bronze was as good as gold.
I heard my sister shout out, "This is your race!" And she had a sign and her T-shirt, and that gave me what I needed to pass 4th and 5th and get into the medals.
She's a gorgeous girl. I'm just so happy.
We couldn't be happier.
The Matildas are still processing their early exit from the Games and the departure of head coach Tony Gustafsson.
Well, we've made history with him, so I know all of the girls are grateful to have had him for the 4 years.
And there were strong results for Australia's teams, including another upset win by the Sharks, and a last-second penalty corner helped the Hockeyroos claim a 3-3 draw with world number 2 Argentina.
It wouldn't be the Olympic Games without some sort of controversy, this time in the boxing ring. Amanda Shalala again.
Angela Carini has withdrawn from her bout against Algeria's Imane Khalif after just 46 seconds after receiving some heavy blows to the head. Now, last year, the International Boxing Association, which is no longer recognised as the sport's governing body, disqualified Khalif and Taiwan's Lin Yuting, who's fighting today, from the World Championships, saying they did not meet the eligibility requirements for the women's competition. The IOC, which is running the boxing here, has come out very strongly criticising the IBA, saying it made a sudden and arbitrary decision, confirming that these women are eligible to compete in the female category and saying it's saddened by the abuse that they've received. Of course, the sporting action continues here today with Australia hoping to add to the medal tally. Some of the highlights today include Kaylee McEwen in the women's 200 backstroke, Cam McAvoy in the men's 50 free final, and Isaac Kennedy and Saya Sakakibara in the men's and women's BMX races.
Ara pedals furiously to Olympic gold.
To come back, to regroup, to set up her own support team and put herself in the position that she did was amazing. She's become a very, very strong person.
Hello, welcome to ABC News. I'm Lorna Dunkley. The second day of this year's Garma Festival is underway and it has begun with a keynote address from the Prime Minister. It's Anthony Albanese's first
pivoting towards what he's going to.
The healing process and the reconciliation, the conversation.
The September 11 terror attacks. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 2 of his accomplices have been in custody since 2003, the man's death. It's been a gold rush in Paris this morning. Australia's Heights just after 9 o'clock last night. Police do not believe the attack was random, but detectives are working to determine the exact circumstances surrounding the man's death. It's been a gold rush in Paris this morning. Australia's Cam McEvoy created history, winning gold in the men's 50-metre freestyle with a time of 21.25 seconds. Kaylee McEwen once again dominated the field in the women's 200-metre backstroke to claim her second gold of the Games. It is her fourth career individual gold medal, making her the most decorated individual Olympic swimmer in Australian history. Meanwhile, Saya Sakakibara has won Australia's first Olympics gold medal in BMX racing. She made up for her 2020 Tokyo Games heartbreak by leading the pack from start to finish to produce a dominant time of 34.23. The 24-year-old's family describes her as an extremely strong person.
It was so good to see her enjoying this big event.
I knew she always had the skill to do it, and today was the day she put it all together, and I couldn't believe it.
She's a very, very strong person to do that, and to come back, to regroup, to set up her own support team and put herself in the position that she did was amazing.
Well, Tom Maddox and Amanda Shalala have more now from Paris.
We've just witnessed a truly special moment here at the Paris Games. Saya Sakakibara claiming Olympic gold in the BMX. Amanda, talk us through it.
This was a really beautiful moment, Tom. Sakakibara was dominant throughout all of the racing today and all her semi-final runs. And then in the final, she was streets ahead of the rest, really. So she deserved this victory. But it's what got her to this point, which really makes it all the more compelling. Her brother Kai was also a BMX racer. He crashed in a race and suffered a traumatic brain injury. And then she crashed out of the semi-finals in Tokyo and was suffering long-term effects of concussion. So to come back from all of that, to come here with that weight on her shoulders and live up to her billing as the gold medal favourite, it just shows her character, how strong she is. She is a true champion in every sense of the word, and this is one of the best moments, I think, so far for Australia at these Games.
Some emotional scenes too at the end there, her shoulders draped in the Australian flag, acknowledging her family in the crowd. What happened then?
Well, I spoke to her family afterwards and they are just so incredibly proud. They mentioned they have been through so much. It has been an incredibly difficult journey for them, as you can imagine, but they have such pride in how they've stuck together as a family unit, and to see Saya shine on this stage is just the ultimate reward for them. And seeing her hug Kai on the track afterwards, honestly, it was bringing tears to my eyes, I think to everybody who witnessed it. And we also had a really big night in the pool with another couple of gold for Australia.
2 gold. I mean, we were watching it on the stream as we were here at the BMX tracks, cheering on Saya, of course in a non-biased way. But Cam McEvoy and Kaylee McEwen, both incredible stories in their own right. McEwen has done what no other Australian has done in swimming or any other athletics field, that is, and that's win 4 individual Olympic golds. So she surpasses names like Ian Thorpe, Dawn Fraser, Ariane Titmus, of course, Jess Fox even, who's won 3 Olympic individual golds. Incredible effort to back up. After backing up in the 100 backstroke, she's now backed up in the 200 backstroke. And then Cam McEvoy, a wonderful story as well. He basically gave up the sport a few years ago. He was exhausted after things didn't quite go his way in Tokyo. He thought, well, I'm going to give it one more crack, or at least one more crack, with Paris beckoning. Flipped his training program on its head, shedded his load completely. It worked out, won a world championship last year, and now he's a gold medalist, the first male sprinter to win over that distance, and his first gold medal. So just a wonderful story, Cam McEvoy.
Yeah, he's really redefined how we look at sprint swimming, and he has said that he wants to keep going to Brisbane, where he'll be 38 years old, and I wouldn't count him out at this stage. We also had a bronze medal in the rowing with the women's pairs, Annabelle McIntyre and Jess Morrison. So lovely to see the Australians get on the board in the rowing. Now the Boomers lost to Greece. We thought it's all over for them after that magnificent rose gold campaign in Tokyo. It looked like the dream was over. but it's alive, still just.
The boys have just scraped through the quarterfinals, but not off their own, scoring. It was relying on results from Canada and Spain. We needed the Canadians to beat the Spaniards, and beat them they did just. I think it was a 3-point margin in the end, so the Boomers scraped through. And we should mention that in men's tennis, the doubles pairing of Matt Ebden and John Peers are through to the final here at Roland Garros in Paris, and they're guaranteed at least a silver medal, if not gold.
The first Aussie men's doubles pairing to make it to this stage since the Woodies, so that bodes well.
Amanda Shalala and Tom Maddox there.
Well, it's time now for a sports break. Joining us here in the studio for the highlights of the Paris Olympics and more is Jared Coote. Jared, let's go first to the tennis. Australia has picked up a gold.
Mariam, we've got a clear highlight for the night so far. What a result this was. The men's doubles tennis, it's Matthew Ebden and John Peers. They are gold medalists now. What a performance they beat. The full seeds, Austin Krajicek and Rajiv Ram in this one. A superb performance. They lost the first set 7-6. They were down a break in the second set. Things weren't looking good. They fought back in the second to win that one in a tiebreak. They actually won that second set tiebreak 7-1. It then goes to a super tiebreak, so they don't even play a third set. They go, let's go straight to a super tiebreak, which is first to 10, and they won that 10-8. They're in complete control. They had 4 match points. They lost 3 of those. Things got a little nervous. They had 1 left. But they managed to get the job done. So a huge result for the pair, 36 years old. So veterans of the sport, the specialists in doubles. They've done great things on the ATP Tour, but they've got it done. They're the only Australians to win gold in tennis at the Olympics outside of the Woodies, who won at Atlanta in 1996. So, yeah, a come-from-behind, nervy performance at the back end of your career to win an Olympic gold medal. I don't think it gets much better than that, Mariam. So a superb performance.
What a fantastic result. Let's move over to the athletics track. What's happening there?
I'm still excited about the tennis, but we'll talk athletics. So 2 Australian men were in the 100-metre sprint. Of course, everyone loves watching that. Unfortunately, the Australians didn't get the result they're after. Rowan Browning, well-known Australian, Heat 6. He missed out. He finished 6th in that with a time of 10.29 seconds. The lesser-known Josh Azzopardi in Heat 2, he actually finished 4th in a time of 10.20. But neither qualified for the semi-finals. In the men's pole vault, Curtis Marshall, he is into the final of that. He jumped 5.7 metres. He was the 9th best. He dislocated his ankle only in May. Didn't know if he'd race at all and get to compete, but he's been able to do that. In the 800-metre women's repechage, Abby Caldwell qualified through for the semi-finals on debut. She hit the front at the back end of her race there to qualify through the semi-finals. Katrina Bissett just missed out in that repechage round. So she'll join Claudia Hollingsworth, another Australian, into the semi-finals. So pretty exciting time on the track tonight as well.
Exciting times in the pool as well. We've got some strong results there as well to report.
Yeah, so we had the 50-metre freestyle for women. Shayna Jack winning her heat. She was 4th fastest overall in a time of 24.38 seconds. Meg Harris, 24.5 seconds. She was the 5th fastest overall. They're still a long way away, though, from Sweden's Sarah Sjöström, who was the fastest by nearly half a second. An incredible performance. Sam Short didn't qualify for the final of the men's 1,500 metres, but the men and women qualified in the 4x100-metre medley relay. The women were fastest overall, so a superb performance. The men's 6th quickest for the final, so looking forward to that. And we've got plenty of swimming action early tomorrow morning, some finals. So Ariane Titmus and Lani Pallister in the 800 metres women's freestyle. They're taking on the great Katie Ledecky. We've seen her not be at her best in the 400 and the 200, but the 400, I should say, but the 800 is her bread and butter. That along with the 1500, which she's dominated, so she'll be the big favourite. Kaylee McEwen in the women's 200-metre individual medley alongside Ella as well. So looking for that. Ella Ramsey and Matt Temple in the 100-metre men's butterfly.
We've got to wake up early for that. And Cameron McAvoy, Jared, has opened up on his win in the 50-metre freestyle.
Yeah, superb performance, and this was talked up because he's got all these new techniques. We know swimmers love to swim. They do about 40 kilometres a week on average. Well, he says he does 1, maybe 2. He's focused purely on strength. He says he gained 20 kilos of muscle in the last 2 years, and he just pretty much does all this strength and resistance training hardly any time in the pool, and it worked. Of course, he won gold. This is what he had to say about his victory and waiting so long.
It definitely makes it all the more sweeter. The sense that, I guess, the roots of this journey kind of, I guess, you could even say it goes back from like the start of my international swimming career, but particularly with Rio, and then also choosing to come back 2 years ago and take this different approach. Yeah, it's been absolutely unreal, and it's like the 21-second final, the swim and the medal and everything. That's just like an end kind of representation of everything that's come before it, and yeah, it's very special.
Let's come back home. What else is happening in sport, Jared?
Yeah, Marion, plenty happening in the netball. So the Thunderbirds, they've successfully defended their Super Netball crown.
It's been another golden night for Australia in Paris, with the team now posting its best first half to an Olympic Games ever. A rare triumph in the tennis sealed Australia's 8th straight night with gold, and there have been more medals in windsurfing and swimming. And that's taken Australia to 4th on the medal tally at the halfway point of the Games. There are more medal hopefuls in action tonight, but we start with Australia's newest gold medalists and a drought-breaking victory.
Two veteran tennis players stepping into the Olympic spotlight.
A little bit bright over here.
36-year-olds John, first doubles gold medalists since Todd Woodbridge and Mark Woodford in 1996.
Look it in, sink in, but I don't really know what we've done, but I know it's good.
We're still trying to pinch ourselves to sort of say we're Olympic gold medalists.
The unseeded but experienced doubles.
Said and what she was trying to say, but the crossing the fingers worked.
The pair celebrated with their families, and now all they need is a catchy nickname like the Woodies.
If anyone's got any good suggestions, hit us up on Instagram or something.
The legend of Katie Ledecky continues to grow, winning her 4th straight gold in the 800 freestyle.
I just felt a lot of pressure from myself, just from my history in the race.
Something silver medalist Ariane Titmus knows all about.
This is the first time I've really let my emotions out. I felt so much pressure coming into these games.
Ledecky's just the second woman to win 9 Olympic gold medals, and she's the first female athlete across any sport to win 4 consecutive individual titles in the same event.
I think everyone knows her, loves her, and little kids look up to her.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was just an honour to just watch the GOAT do her thing.
Kaylee McEwen was promoted to bronze in the women's 200 individual medley after American Alex Walsh was disqualified.
The majority of you have to be on your back when you touch the wall.
20-year-old Sydney sider Gray Morris is celebrating silver in the men's windsurfing.
And it's neck and neck.
In the final medal race, Morris finished behind Israel's Tom Ruvani for Australia's first podium finish in the event in 32 years. Success that's helped drive Australia's best start to an Olympics in history.
Yes. Amanda joins us now from Paris. Amanda, can Australia keep this gold medal streak going tonight?
Well, Jez, one of the big hopes is in the women's high jump final. There are 2 Australians in the field. Nicola Ollie-Slagers is the world number 2 and the reigning Olympic silver medalist. Eleanor Patterson is ranked world number 4 and she's a former world champion too. So it would be quite remarkable if both Australians could end up on the podium. One of the marquee events at every Olympics is the men's 100 metres. We've got the semi-finals and then the final tonight. American Noah Lyles is the world champion and among the favourites. Although he's not the fastest man in the field, that's Jamaica's Kashane Thompson, who has a PB of 9.77 seconds. And Italy's defending gold medalist Marcel Jacobs is also lining up.
Amanda Shalala in Paris.
Another golden night for Australia in Paris, with the team now staring down history after its best first half to an Olympic Games. A rare triumph in the tennis sealed Australia's 8th straight night with a gold, with more medals in windsurfing and swimming. Good enough for 4th on the medal tally at the halfway point. And there are more medal hopefuls in action tonight too, but we start with Australia's latest gold medalists and a drought-breaking victory.
2 veteran tennis players stepping into the Olympic spotlight.
A little bit bright over here.
36-year-olds John Pearce.
Can sink in, but I don't really know what we've done, but I know it's good.
We're still trying to pinch ourselves to sort of say we're Olympic gold medalists.
The unseeded but experienced doubles specialist.
What she was trying to say, but the crossing the fingers worked.
The pair celebrated with their families, and now all they need is a catchy nickname like the Woodies.
If anyone's got any good suggestions, hit us up on Instagram or something.
The legend of Katie Ledecky continues to grow, winning her 4th straight gold in the 800 freestyle.
I just felt a lot of pressure from myself, just from my history in the race.
Something silver medalist Ariane Titmus knows all about.
This is the first time I've really let my emotions out. I felt so much pressure coming into these games.
Ledecky's just the 2nd woman to win 9 Olympic gold medals, and she's the first female athlete across any sport to win 4 consecutive individual titles in the same event.
I think everyone knows her, loves her, and little kids look up to her.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was just an honor to just watch the GOAT do her thing.
Kaylee McEwen was promoted to bronze in the women's 200 individual medley after American Alex Walsh was disqualified.
The majority of you have to be on your back when you touch the wall.
20-year-old Sydney sider Gray Morris is celebrating silver in the men's windsurfing.
And it's neck and neck.
In the final medal race, Morris finished behind Israel's Tom Ruvani for Australia's first podium finish in the event in 32 years. Success that's helped drive Australia's best start to an Olympics in history.
And Amanda Shalala is still with us. Amanda, what are the chances that Australia can keep this gold streak going tonight?
Well, Tamara, there are big hopes in the women's high jump final featuring 2 Australians. Nicola Ollie-Slagers is the world number 2 and the reigning Olympic silver medalist. And Eleanor Patterson is ranked world number 4 and she's a former world champion too. So it would be quite remarkable if both Australians could end up on the podium. One of the marquee events at every Olympics is the men's 100 metres, and we've got the semi-finals and the final tonight. American Noah Lyles is the world champion and is among the favourites. Although he's not the fastest man in the field, that's Jamaica's Kashane Thompson, who has a PB of 9.77 seconds. And Italy's defending gold medalist Marcel Jacobs will also line up.